Right, as you can see and probably hear, we are in a convertible Jaguar F-Type. Woo! That's a proper noise. Oh man, this thing just makes you smile by its noise alone. And this is the V6. They do a V8, they do a big 5 litre supercharged V8. Imagine that thing, but we're in the lowly V6. But it is an S, so we've got the switchable exhaust, which makes that fabulous sound. Right, so this might sound like a bit of an obvious question, but what is the Jag F-Type? What is it aimed at? What kind of car did Jag want it to be? Well, it was priced between the Cayman and the 911 from Porsche, and they're often seen as obviously the benchmarks of the sports car classes. So the V6 is priced smack between those two. But anyway, what kind of character does this bring to the table? Well, it doesn't directly compete with the 911 or the Boxster in the way that it drives, because they're mid-engined, rear-engined as well. They're very precise, lots of feedback, and they don't have this sort of thuggish character that this car has. That's the main thing I'm taking away from it. It's this really brutish, savage character. It steers very well for its size, but it's not precise and tactile in the way that a Porsche would be. But I think that's absolutely fine, because often you see people trying to compete with Porsche in those stakes, and they fail most of the time. But this, the Jag, and it's fitting for a Jag as well, this goes with a much more thuggish, almost muscle car-like character. I really like that. And even the V6 has it. Because like I said, it's supercharged, it's got bundles of torque, you can just lay black lines wherever you want in this thing, as you might see from a couple of clips I'll show you now. It is really entertaining, although it's not the most precise car on the limit. Because when you start getting it sliding, it does start to feel it's 1600 kilos. Yeah, it is a little bit heavy for what it wants to be, but at road speeds below the absolute limit, you really don't feel that. It doesn't feel too heavy at all. And that's mainly because of things like the steering, which is, when you first get in it, it feels very, very fast, the steering. It feels a very fast rack. It's not got a whole bunch of feel, but it is very accurate. In a car this size and this wide, that's what you really need to stop worrying about taking the sides off the thing. So that's really welcome, and that fast steering rack gives it agility at lower speeds that really belies its weight. Looking at the spec of this particular F-Type, I was ready to just come in and slate this car. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the ghastly white wrap, or the red seats, or the stupidly loud exhaust when it fires up, and the flare of revs. It's in full Asian spec, as I like to call it. You can see it in Bradford or Birmingham, revving at night outside a kebab shop. I was ready to just slate it as another 911 competitor that just fails and is all show and no go. But even in the few first meters of driving the car, I realised that this thing was far better sorted than I gave it credit for by just looking at it and reading about it. Because the ride, although it's very firm, it is really nicely damped, and as a GT car, as I think the F-Type is sort of positioned as, that's what you want. You want the Jag to be comfortable. You want it to be more soft riding than the 911 rival, and more predictable, and everything happens slowly. And that's really what you've got with this car. It never snaps, it's very friendly despite the crazy barks coming out the back of it. And you can really just hold it at silly angles basically, and have tyres smoking up. That's really enjoyable for that kind of stuff, because it's front engine, rear drive, old school. Unlike the 911s, they're not as happy going sideways or messing about as this. And I think in that respect, it is more fun. It's more of an event than the Porsche products, I have to say. 911 probably has more depth to it in terms of how you can get used to the steering, get keyed into all the feedback, the messages it tells you, and that can be really satisfying. But this is just a brutish thug. It just wants to be hooned around. It wants to be conspicuous and loud and shouty. It wants to smoke up its rear tyre. But it always feels rear driven, whereas a Porsche product might always have imperious traction. This thing, you've always got to slide a millimetre of throttle away, and that's what I love about it. I think that's a smart move from Jaguar, because it feels very Jaguar in its chassis, in its engine, and how relaxed it can be when on normal driving, but they haven't chased Porsche in terms of precision and driving excellence. I think they've chased Porsche in terms of fun. And this thing, I have to say, has to be one of the most fun cars I've reviewed. It's just ridiculous, the sound it makes. The fact that it's open top as well always makes you feel closer to the elements, closer to that V6 sound. And it makes the car feel a lot faster than it is usually, which is what we want, isn't it, on the road? We don't want to just do stupid numbers on the road and not feel it. We want to really feel the speed, and this gives you it. I wouldn't be smiling that much opening up a 911 up here, I'll tell you that. It might get up here quicker, but in terms of fun, I don't know. This thing is right up there, it really is. It's an old school Jaguar. I think it looks great as well. I mean, especially the rear 3/4. It looks exactly how it drives, this thing, and I love it for that. But as you can probably tell, I'm a big Jaguar F-Type fan after driving this. And I really wasn't before. I used to see them, and they used to just be flashy, big, shouty things. And I didn't really get the car, but it's just a very, very complete package. So yeah, that's the Jag F-Type. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for future videos. Please like it as well. Comment your thoughts on the F-Type. I've got some exciting videos coming up, so stay tuned for that. Oh, we got a Ford Galaxy. He's up the inside of the Golf. Will he make the move? Oh, he's hit a sheep. Oh no, red flag's out. Got one dead sheep. It's a Jalfrezi on the road.